Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from the classic Rick Springfield hit Jessie's Girl, going back to 1981. Now this is another great example of a relatively simple but well-crafted solo where every note is really just perfectly placed in my opinion. But more importantly, I just think it's a lot of fun to play. Now, one other thing I want to mention before we get started that some of you may already know is that the guitar parts were all originally played by guest guitar player Neil Giraldo, who's best known for being Pat Benatar's longtime guitar player and husband. Now, if you watch the original video for Jessie's Girl, though, Neil did not make a guest appearance, and when it came time for the solo, Rick Springfield himself pretended to be playing it. However, if you watch his fingers really closely, it looks like he's playing most, if not all, of the correct notes. And in fact, I've also seen video of him playing the solo live, where instead of the lead guitar player taking it, he takes it. So even though he may have been faking it in that original video, you got to give him some credit for actually knowing it. All right, let's jump on into it. Section 1 goes like this. Let's slow that down and break it in half. The first part goes like this. You're basically playing the 7th fret of the G string 8 times, and about halfway through, start adding some vibrato. Then the second half slowly goes like this. Now you may have noticed that whenever I switch from the 10th fret of the B string to the 10th fret of the high E string, which happens twice, instead of removing my finger from the B string, I'm pushing my finger down and barring it across both strings, okay? Which just makes it a little quicker, a little easier, okay? So watch. So here's the whole thing slowly. A little bit slower now. And at the end, don't forget to do that slide up. All right, let's move to the next part. Section 2 goes like this. Let's cut that in half again and slow it down. So the first half goes like this, slowly. Okay? What we're doing basically is you're doing a full step bend at the 12th fret of the high E. And at the top, while you're still holding the bend, you're going to tap onto the 15th fret, give it some vibrato. The vibrato comes from your left hand, not your tapping hand. Pull off to that 12th fret note, bring the bend down. Okay? The second half, slow down, goes like this. The next section. Again, let's break that in half and slow it down. So the first half goes like this. And when I'm doing that, the G string is being picked with the pick, and the high E string is being plucked with my ring finger of the picking hand, okay? Okay? Now if you want to just play it that way, you can. Just make sure that you're muting the B string so it doesn't sound, because it's really easy to make it accidentally sound if you're picking all 3. So make sure that your finger is lightly touching it, your other finger not in use, to mute it, if that makes sense, okay? But that's why I do the claw method, picking the G string and plucking the high E, because then I don't have to worry about muting as much, right? Then the second half. All right, let's move to the final part. The last part, section 4, goes like this. Now we're going to break that up into 3 parts, and the first part goes like this, slowly. All right? And if you want to use different fingering like this, you can. Whatever's easier for you. And then the second part, you've got these little 2-note dyad chords like this. All right, slowly. And then finally, we have the last 2 notes. And the only thing I want to call out there is you'll notice that with the first note, I hold it for a tiny bit before I add the vibrato. Alright, that was my video showing you how to play the guitar solo from Rick Springfield's Jessie's Girl. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell so you get all of my videos as soon as they come out. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and as always, I will answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.